So, I want to welcome every one of you individually and as a community. We are gathering in this moment at the beginning of the summer. And if this is your first Azkarah, or if you have been with us in past months, you are welcome here. If you are mourning the massive mounting death toll from the pandemic, from climate change, or police violence, or the destruction of buildings, and the latest in Miami, you are welcome here. If you are mourning one or more personal losses, a death that was more recent or from long ago, or any or all of these, you are welcome here. If you are largely alone with your grief, or if you have a degree of company in your mourning, welcome. If you are Jewish, or read Hebrew, or have never been in a Jewish ritual space before, or something in between, you are welcome. We are grateful to be here with you and to share this space for grief and reflection and perhaps comfort together. I want to read a slight adaptation of a poem by Rabbi Harold Schulweis that was based on Psalm 27, The Echo of Your Promise. When I cry, my voice trembles with fear. When I call out, it cracks with anger. How can I greet the dawn with song when darkness eclipses the rising sun? To whom shall I turn when the clouds of the present eclipse the rays of tomorrow? Turn me around to yesterday, that I may be consoled by its memories. Were not the seas split asunder? Did we not once walk together through the waters to the dry side? Did we not bless the bread that came forth from the heavens? Did your voice not reach my ears and direct my wanderings? The waters, the lightning, the thunder remind me of yesterday's awe. If the past offer proof of tomorrow, let it be my comforter and guarantor. In some way, I have been here before, known the fright, and found your companionship. I enter the sanctuary again to await the echo of your promise.
In many cultures, the lighting of a candle is an act that invokes memory. And so I light this candle among us here. As a way to bring us together in this community, and invite you, if you have a candle nearby, to join me in lighting it. When our temple stood in Jerusalem and was then destroyed, we became a diaspora people. We lost our central place of communal gathering. And our communal loss, our rabbis created an abiding link between this historic loss to the grief each individual person experiences when someone we know dies. This link of community to the individual is expressed in what is now a traditional greeting to each other as we come to mourn. The phrase is HaMakom Yinachem etchem b'toch sha'ar avalei Tzion Yerushalayim. HaMakom is one of the very few words in Hebrew that refers to God that is in fact a venue, the place. Yinachem is interesting because even though this phrase is expressed to an individual, grammatically, Yinachem is in the plural you, meaning may God comfort you, the plural. Etchem, you, betoch. Betoch is a word that means inside. And so it means that we are inside the place of comfort. Sha'ar is an interesting ancient Hebrew word that means remnant. Some of you may be familiar with the way it sounds because in modern Hebrew and in ancient Hebrew, sha'ar is also a gate. But a sha'ar that is gate is written with an ayin, a different letter. So sha'ar here means remnant. Avalei means mourners of, and Sion, Zion, the Yerushalayim, Jerusalem. And so I like to translate HaMakom, Yinachem etchem, b'toch sha'ar avalei Tzion, Yerushalayim, as may the place of comfort God gave to the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem be given to you now in your grief. Grief is an awkward place to be. Often we are not sure where we have the room to grieve. Often grief throws us off and we do not know our actual place in the world. We search for a place to belong in our grief. We yearn to create, live in, grow in safe places to grieve. Oftentimes, we just need a moment to imagine what such a place may be for us. And so I'd like to invite you to take a moment, take a breath, and we invite you to take this moment to imagine your place for grief. Where is it? Is it a familiar place like the beach? Or yet a new place unexplored? Is it a place inside yourself? Does it reside in a feeling, in a thought, in activity? Whatever the place for you, HaMakom, we all need our own individual place for grief. And so we invite you to take another breath and to let this music and these images encourage you to explore your place, your HaMakom, for your grief.
I'm going to repeat this melody a few more times. Feel free to just listen and stay with your HaMakom place, or to, while we're all on, well, most of us are on mute, you can feel free to hum with me and feel the vibration of your own voice, betoch, inside yourself. I'll chant one more round and then give us a few seconds of silence to let that quietly echo inside. There's a centuries-old Hebrew prayer, El Maleh Rachamim, literally God full of mercy, God full of compassion. And that prayer is often an integral part of a Jewish funeral or memorial service, or a Yizkor or other memorial service. So whether at a cemetery or in a synagogue, or even in a gathering in someone's home. And I'm going to ask Abra to put up the slide for El Maleh Rachamim. And I'm going to chant the traditional Hebrew, but before doing so, invite you to join me, staying muted, but join me if you wish, reading the translation aloud in the English. God full of mercy, let there be a perfect rest for our precious ones who have gone to eternity. Shelter them beneath your wings among the holy and pure, whose light shines like the radiance of heaven. Compassionate one, Hold them close to you forever. May their souls be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. May they find a home in you. May they rest in peace. And we say, Amen. El male rachamim, shochen במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה, תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, את נשמות יקירינו שהלכו לעולמם בגן עדן תהא מנוחתם. אנא בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר אמן. The next slide contains a poem, a litany of remembrance, written by Rabbi Sylvan Kamens and Rabbi Jack Reimer. And I invite you to join me, whether in reading the entire poem or in reading and reciting the refrain, we remember them. And while you remain muted, and if you're reading along with me, you can name your person or the people that who have died in place of them. You can personalize the reading to the individual or the people that you are carrying in your grief and in your mourning and honoring them on this day. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
As we prepare to recite the Kaddish together, we invite you to take another moment of silence. You go perhaps a little bit deeper, betoch, inside yourself, to find a little bit more deeply your place, your HaMakom, to the place of your own imagination, for the place of your own grief. And we invite you to take a moment, if you wish, to write the name of someone you know, a loved one, a group of people, or whom you would recite Kaddish, into the chat. In a moment, we'll see another slide with Kaddish on it. And we invite you to take a breath and remain muted, but please join as in a moment we recite Kaddish together. Together, Yid Kadal, Yid Kadash, Shemei Rabbah. V'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute, v'chayachon v'yomechon, v'chayed kol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei Rabba mevarach, v'alam ul'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yithaleh, v'yithalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, v'amiram v'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama Rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. May the source of peace bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who mourn. And let us say, Amen.
Amen. Um, mm, I want to, on behalf of all of us, thank everyone for joining us today. For those of you who have extended your financial support to the Healing Center in the past to keep these Azkarah services going and to support our work out in the community, thank you especially. And for anyone who is inclined to do that, we'll put the link to our Healing Center donate page in the chat, and of course our website is always available to you as well. And as we are coming to the latter part of our time together, some of us have candles that we held out briefly or are still in a visual space. We connected in various ways today, visually and with music and with words and with silence, shared words, shared memory, shared grief, even though we're each in our own room, as another gesture of connection in this poignant moment and space that we've created together, the sanctuary that we entered together. I invite you to take one hand and put somewhere on your body and extend the other hand toward everyone else in the screen as a way of, in the digital space, affirming and holding our connection, and maybe we can hold on to that image for ourselves, even as our time is passed over. And if you want to unmute yourself, or I don't know if Albert can unmute everyone in a single stroke so we can hold our hands up. No, okay. If you want to unmute yourself and share a word of blessing or greeting to the rest of the community, we can make space for that too. We're small enough to hear each other. I want to wish, in whatever ways possible, shalom to everyone. We're more inclined towards silence in this moment. That is fine too. I will sing us out with a closing nigun, a closing melody. It's a melody that actually has words, that are a prayer for peace and for comfort. But I'm going to chant it without the words. And we'll leave you muted if you want to hum along, if you want to chant along, or simply close your eyes and savor one last extended moment of meditation and of connection. Feel free to do that. We'll leave the chat open, so if you want to send a message to someone else, an affirmation, add a name that you didn't get to before, feel free to do that. And when the music ends, we'll close out the meeting, but with the unspoken wish at that moment that we are all able to go in peace. L'chul shalom. May we all go on with our afternoon, go on with our grief, go on with our connection and in our individual places, our individual makom, with a measure of light, with a measure of comfort, and with a measure of shalom. Shalom, everyone.